Hi again, everybody, and welcome to the spring semester of Bengal Magazine. And on today's show, we're going to talk a little hoops and hockey. First up is Fajri Ansari, the men's basketball coach. Fajri's bringing along senior Justin Mitchell. And then we're going to stay on the hardwood, and women's basketball joins us, Sue Roarke, the head coach. And along with Sue is Staci McElroy, her senior sensation. And then we're going to go to the ice, and Candice Moxley, the new women's hockey coach for the Bengals. And Candice is bringing along senior goaltender Jordan Lee from, of all places, Colorado Springs, Colorado. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're talking hoops and men's basketball. Stay with us. All right, let's talk a little hoops. First of all, we're joined by Fajri Ansari, the men's basketball coach at Buffalo State, and Justin Mitchell, the super senior for the Bengals. And Fajri, first time on, again, just trying to get a progress report. Looking at the record, 6-3 overall, 2-0 going into this taping. Good progress report? You like what you see?
Yes, it's definitely a work in progress. We started out a couple of wins, and we took a couple of close losses, and we had a really good trip. In Florida, I think is helping bring the team together, but it's a real test of patience this year.
Well, let's get into that a little bit, and it has to be. I mean, you were telling me off air. I looked at the roster and I see 6 freshmen, a couple sophomores, and then you just told me off air. Well, yeah, but a couple people were injured last year, so we're really 10 faces that did not play last year that are playing this year. So how does all that? I mean, are you using this part of the season to kind of figure out team chemistry both on the bench and on the court?
Yes, absolutely. Not intentionally, but
right.
but it's happening. Each game is a progress. And practicing every day is I think is bringing us a little closer together, get a feel for each other, because there's so many dynamics between different backgrounds, different high schools, freshmen, transfers, people coming off injuries. So there's a lot of things that not necessarily deal right on the court, but it has a lot to do with what happens on the court. So trying to manage all those things together is, we're into the season now, so
yeah, absolutely.
We have to get into it.
Do you sense the same thing, Justin? I mean, you're the big shot, you're the senior, right? I mean, you must look and go, holy cow, where all these faces come from?
Yeah, definitely. It's not a bad thing right now, but we're definitely working on it. You could definitely see it the first 2 home games. Like the chemistry, it's not necessarily bad, but it's not there yet.
Right.
But we have like Lavelle and Rezan. They went to the same high school together. You have Maurice and Jovan. They went to high school together. So some players kind of know each other just
absolutely,
just because of locally in high school. And then Chris Thompson, he stayed here over the summer, so I got a chance to play with him over the summer. So like the chemistry is getting better,
right,
especially as the season goes on.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for knowing where people are going to be on the court, where they're supposed to be on the court, and then will they be there? And there's that confidence level. Speaking of confidence, young man, you must have an enormous amount of confidence right now. Shooting 66% from the field, 77% from the line. You lead the team in scoring at 23 points. I can go on and on. You lead the team in rebounding with 9. Man, I bet you couldn't wait to get on the court this year.
Couldn't wait. After my junior year, I got hurt twice, broke my hand and my ankle, and that hurt me a lot, because just seeing the team just downfall after that, it really hurt me, and I feel like I let my team down too. Especially not playing last year. I definitely could have helped out. Because my injuries and then academic-wise. But I feel like coming back this year, I had to get in like the best shape possible. I knew like I was going to be the guy for the team this year, and obviously I'm helping out.
Well, it's funny. I watched the team, and I sense that you're playing with a bit more sense of urgency. I don't know if that's the right word. Would you agree with that?
Not really. I mean, I always had the capability of doing what I'm doing now. But the year when we won the championship and my junior season, I really nobody really had to depend on one person for scoring. Obviously, Jake was the leading scorer, but we had so much balanced scoring that it didn't really depend on one person.
That's right.
We had like 10, 10, 10, 10 across the board.
Right.
Maybe somebody go off for 30 and then everybody else have like 15 or something. But
That's right.
we never had to depend on one person.
You know, it's interesting. He brought up Jake Simmons, the all-time leading scorer, and we don't have Jake anymore. You don't have Jake anymore. And so, you know, Jake was kind of the go-to guy, I would say. But do you look at this guy now as one of the go-to guys that you need not only scoring but leadership too?
Yes, absolutely, because he has the most experience on the team,
right.
And he's capable. You know, he can score inside, he can score outside, and he's also unselfish. You know, we don't have Jake, but we do have players who are capable of scoring, and
right.
he recognized that. So he's not like, just give me the ball and I got to do it all by myself. But we want him to be a little selfish at times because
sure.
he's more than capable of scoring in so many different ways
right.
for us. But it definitely was an adjustment without Jake. It hit me the first practice, and one of his favorite drills. We used to do a defense drill. I'm just used to him saying the name, and I just realized he's not here anymore to do that. You know,
wow.
It wasn't the jump shot so much, but
wow.
it was just remembering that practice, how much he enjoyed that particular drill, and just say, yeah, you know, it's the first time in 4 years he's not here. But he helped us out and paved the way for a lot of us and give confidence in a lot of other players. So, you know, we're enjoying the team growing together at this point.
Absolutely. You had mentioned earlier, Coach, about the trip to Florida. Interesting tournament set up down there, and we were the hosts. But tell me, what does that do for the team? I mean, was that an opportunity to get two games in that, you know, and especially down there, or did you use that as a, you know, all these new faces, let's get everybody together and let's have some bonding here, some camaraderie down in Florida?
That and also the competition.
Okay.
We had some really excellent competition. All the games and the whole tournament was very, very competitive. The teams had been into all the Eastern Connecticut, North Central, I think, was actually in the Final Four last year, if I'm not mistaken. And Carthage, these teams have beat some ranked teams, so it was stiff competition for us. And us being away and in the hotel and the whole time together, I
right.
think helped us. You know, what we talked about earlier, the need for some of that chemistry. So
right.
we know that we have a very competitive conference, and
every year.
And this trip, I think, did us some good because it put us in situations that if we're going to be successful in our league, we're going to have to face those same type of tests.
Well, we got about a minute left, and let's talk about the conference. You start the season, the conference schedule, with 5 straight conference road games, and then 7 of 11 conference games at home to end the season. Do you like that schedule? And nothing you can do about it, but how do you look at that schedule and relate it to, you know, the total package of the season?
Well, when you add the other 2 games in Florida, that's probably going to put us 7 straight games on the road.
That's right. That's right.
And so far as for this particular year, I don't dislike it so much because I think it's given us more time to be together, and we really need to do that camaraderie. The fact that school is out doesn't hurt as much either because, you know, of course you want to play at home, but you'd rather play at home when school is in session.
Absolutely.
So I know it'll flip around differently next year, but I'm not so disappointed about that part.
Right. And lately we've been getting some terrific crowds to watch the Bengals, and it's fantastic basketball, so why wouldn't they? So, men, thanks very much for being on the show. Appreciate it. Good luck on those conference games and the rest of the season. We'll have you on again in about a month.
All right.
But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to keep talking basketball. Women's basketball is going to join us, so stay with us. Congratulations going out to Nick Burst from the men's hockey team. Nick is this week's Tim Horton Athlete of the Week. He's a freshman criminal justice major, and in 2 games last week against the second-ranked team in the nation, Adrian, he had a goal and 2 assists. And for the season now, he has 7 points, and that's good for 4th on the team. So congratulations to Nick Burst, the Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week. And I should say that the men's hockey team continues non-conference play this Friday, January 10th, against Elmira at 7 o'clock here at home. And then Tuesday the 14th against Nazareth at 7 o'clock here at home. And then the 17th, next Friday, against Curry, and that's also at 7 o'clock. So 3 straight men's hockey games at home during the non-conference schedule. And now we go from the ice to the hardwood, and we're joined by women's basketball, and Sue Roarke, the head coach of the Bengals, joins us, along with the senior star of the Bengals, Staci McElroy. And Sue, first time on the show, the season's up and running, 7-2 overall, 2-0 in the conference. Pretty good progress report then.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the way we're playing right now. I think we've got 5 seniors on this team, and it's definitely reflected in how we've played up to this point.
Would you concur with that, Miss Student Athlete? Is this what you anticipated coming into this year?
I do agree, yes. I think that we've been working really hard, and I'm also pleased with how we've been playing.
That's great, terrific. I would say, I don't know if you agree, but as I was approaching this season, I was really looking forward to it. It's what they call in journalism the much anticipated season. I looked at the roster, people coming back, what happened last year, what's going to happen this year. Am I overblowing this, or were you looking forward to this season?
No, I think we're very optimistic,
Yeah.
about where we could be this year with this team, and but I think we understand how competitive our conference is and how many good quality teams there are. So at the same time, you got to keep it in perspective and make sure we're getting a little bit better each day.
I would think you were excited about this season too. Were you? I mean, were you really pumped up, or was just another season?
No, I was really excited.
Yeah.
After taking a year off, I really missed it a lot, so I couldn't wait to get back on the court.
Well, you are rolling. I mean, you lead the team in scoring and rebounding. You're really the go-to person. Maybe there's a couple other ones I should say, but Bengals basketball, Staci McElroy. That's the name we look at, and along with Bianca probably. But how do you approach this season personally, Stace? I mean, it is your last season. How do you look at this going forward?
I don't really think of it like I need to be the main one out there or anything. I think a lot of the girls on the court can contribute, so I
Right.
think there's a lot less pressure than I felt in previous years. So it's really just fun just to be back on the court again and play our game.
Well, that's interesting that there is that talent level now where everything doesn't have to flow to her shoulders. You agree with that?
Absolutely. I think we, on any given day, we probably have 5-6 players that can contribute decent scoring numbers. And it does take a lot of the pressure off one individual that if they have a bad day, that there's somebody else that can step up and contribute to our team.
Right, absolutely. 2-time All-SUNY first team. What's there left for you? I mean, you've done it all. You're moving up the ranks in scoring. In fact, you may be, at this clip, you have a chance to become the second or third all-time leading scorer in women's basketball history. What's there left for you?
I think that I just want to win the SUNY and make it to the NCAA tournament this year. We were really close 2 years ago, and
Right.
it just makes me want to work that much harder just to get there.
It's the ultimate goal, and it's a goal that everybody shoots for, every team. And I'm interested with that goal in mind, an interesting trip down to Florida you took. And how does that relate to the goal?
Yeah, I think we took the same trip 2 years ago, and it was, I think, part of our most successful season here when we finished 25-3. It did a really good job of bringing us together with team building and getting to know each other, and I think this trip had the same effect.
Okay.
When you spend, a bunch of days down in Florida where you don't have classes and your team is together 24 hours a day,
Right.
it definitely makes you a stronger team.
And then you take 2 weeks off, basically, and at least no games. And you come back and take on Hamilton here, and it was a good win, 70-55. Did that surprise you at all, or was there any sluggishness at all? I wasn't there, but it sounds like, boy, everything was clicking.
Yeah, first half defensively, I wasn't necessarily pleased. We gave up 36 points in the first half, which I thought was too many.
Okay.
And we definitely addressed that at halftime, and I thought the second half did a much better job defensively. Because I think getting this team to understand that's how we're going to win in our conference is, at this point in the year, our most important thing to focus on.
When you look at this team, Sue, and Staci too, and the goals down there, the NCAA tournament, et cetera, what does this team need to concentrate on that you see, the 2 or 3 elements that they need to focus in on?
The big thing is, obviously that's our ultimate goal, but we can't lose sight of each individual game to
Sure.
get us to that goal. Sometimes I think if we spend too much time worrying about the big picture, we're not taking care of business day to day. So that's, I think, as coaches, our job is to keep them focused on our next opponent. And, never get too excited. Okay, we beat a good Hamilton team. They're a NESCAC team. That's a good win for us. But that's already behind us,
Right.
And it's all about now we're getting ready for Cortland. So
Right.
it's taking it one game at a time, I think, is the most important
Staci,
thing.
is it hard to do that? I mean, I probably shouldn't even be talking about it because I'm part of the problem right now. I'm talking about something that's way down the road. How do you kind of block that out of your head? And are you saying that in the locker room as a senior captain too, that, hey, enough's enough?
No, I think the whole team agrees with that. We all take it one game at a time, and focus on the next game coming up, and just work hard. And we really work hard with knowing our scouting reports and everything. So I think the whole team agrees with just taking it one game at a time.
And she keeps you focused in one
Right.
game at a time. Speaking of games, looking at the schedule, very interesting schedule because we're going to start conference play, and you have 5 straight road conference games to open up the conference schedule. But then you're home back heavy. You have 7 of 11 to end the season. Does that play into any, I mean, do you look at that and kind of go, we really got to get off to a great start here? Or is it, I mean, how do you look at the schedule as it is?
I personally don't think it's a disadvantage because right now we don't have students on campus
Right.
anyway, so there's not a ton of huge home court advantage when you don't have your student body around. And it's also a product right now when they're not in class to take some of these road trips. They're not missing class. They can be focused on basketball, and it frankly gives them something to do over break when there's not a lot to do.
Right.
So it's
Right.
not. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Would you rather play on the road or especially to start the conference out?
I would rather play home.
Okay.
I think playing on the road it can be really difficult, especially with the really far trips.
Yeah, the North Country, where
Right.
we have to get in the bus and all that. If we were to look at the conference, and again, down the road, obviously the target is on you guys, I think, this year. Do you agree or not agree with that? You're kind of giving me that look. We got about a minute left. Tell me about the conference, how you look at the conference.
I think probably Geneseo has a target on their
Okay.
back. They went out to Portland, Oregon, and beat a top 10 ranked team in the nation. And I think they're 6-1 right now.
Okay.
So they're off to a very good start. Cortland will be a
Always.
great test for us right off the bat when we play them on Friday. Plattsburgh's very good. Oneonta's very good. So that's what makes our conference so fun, I think, to play in. Is there's 5 teams, 6 teams that could legitimately win it, and people
Right.
would not be surprised.
Well, when we have you back in about a month, we expect you to be 5-0, 6-0 in the conference. But ladies, best of luck to you the rest of the year, and go Bengals.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk women's hockey. Stay with us. All right, we're back and talking now women's hockey and Candice Moxley. We call her Mox here on staff. Hope you don't mind, Mox. First-year coach of the Bengals, and joining her is Jordan Lee, the terrific goaltender, a senior criminal justice major. So, Candice, let's just talk about the progress of the team's first time on the show, and the season's going forward now. Give us a little progress report.
Well, we're still going strong. We have 2 lines, 4 defensemen, and
Right.
A lot of our girls have been putting in the time and the work effort that we need to move forward. So the first half of the season was a little bit rough for us, but we've been making steps every single game, every single practice. So things are looking well.
Yeah, to both of you, let's follow up on what you just said. You have basically 15 players right now, really because of the lateness of you being hired. But as we say in hockey, only 13 skaters. We don't skate. Goaltenders don't skate, apparently. So we have 13 skaters. Coach, what is that like to coach 2 lines and, what'd you say, 4 sets of defensemen?
Yeah.
I mean, how does that go into the schematic of coaching a game?
Well, really, all it is that everybody has to step up.
Yeah.
So there's no room for someone to kind of take a day off. Everybody needs to be going and clipping at 100% every single time. So it really it brings the team a little bit closer together, I feel, because it really is, you have to rely on absolutely everybody at any given point in time.
Well, as a goaltender, you see everybody. You're looking out. And then in the locker room, obviously, are they... Or, I mean, how does it look to you? Are the women hanging in there and well conditioned?
I think you have to be, just because there's so few of us, so every single person has to be in shape on and off the ice.
Okay. Are there times where you go 3 lines and 2 sets of defensemen, or is it always 2 lines and then 4 sets?
Well, we play around a little bit, so if somebody's really dragging on the ice, we'll sit them down for a shift. We'll pull up another player, but managing the limited players is a little bit tough, just to make sure everybody has wind.
Right.
But at the same time, they're always, okay, take a shift off. They look up, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So
well, it's funny
work it
because
back
sometimes you get players who, I want to play more.
Yeah.
In this scenario, they might want to say, I want to play a little less. I'm like exhausted,
Yeah.
but it's an interesting scenario. Going back to when you got hired, because it was a great hire for us. Here we got an assistant coach from Ohio State, and we were thrilled with it. And yet you couldn't start coaching right away because we never saw you. What happened with all that?
Well, because I'm Canadian and I was on a certain visa at Ohio State, they were my sponsors, so I had to pretty much change my visa over, and that process ended up taking all summer. So had to resubmit paperwork and the whole bit, go
Yikes.
through the entire visa process again.
Wow.
So I didn't get on campus till about August. So
Well,
it
I'm
was-
very proud of you. 2 minutes into this segment, you still haven't said A yet. So that's great. I mean, and you haven't said Tim Hortons yet, which is, you need to say that they're a sponsor. So you get in, and what are the steps? What are you on your priority list when you finally get your office here at Buffalo State? What are you trying to do right away?
Well, I was trying to find out if there were any players that were still in the market looking to go away to college, but with that limited time stamp and short turnover time, it was tough to do. So after realization that wasn't going to happen, we weren't going to find those players, it just shifted right to the team and getting the team set and ready for the season.
Okay.
So just the structure, our calendar, making sure everybody's on the same page, our video playbook, things like that, making sure players had access to whatever information they needed, because again, it's a culture change.
Sure, absolutely.
New coach coming in, so a lot of the things that I've been through as a player and as a coach that I want to implement with the team here was trying to get everybody informed and on the same page as me.
Absolutely. Well, one of the luxuries you had is you're a goaltender that had been here. And how did you get here, Jordan? I mean, I look at your bio, and it's Colorado Springs, Colorado,
Yep.
University of Maine, Buffalo State. So how did all that happen?
Well, I played for Colorado Springs Tigers at one point.
Which is a junior team, or?
It's a Tier 2 team.
Okay.
I also played for Colorado Select, so that kind of got me more like noticed, I guess you could say. But Burke actually kind of watched me when I played for the Tigers.
Okay.
But one of the girls I used to play with went to Southern Maine, so
Okay.
I just went there, and then I didn't like it there, so I was trying to get a different division team.
Gotcha.
And Buffalo State was like the same exact
Okay.
like
So
standing.
it was Southern Maine, not Maine.
Yeah, Southern
Okay,
Maine.
terrific. I'm glad we got that squared away. And viewers should know she's a hard worker in the athletic director's office, doing great work for us. A goaltender. How do you become? What made you become a goaltender?
Well, I played defense for
Okay.
like the first 6 years. And then one of my friends was a goalie. He's like, oh, just try it. Like, see if you like it. I was like, okay. First, like, time, it was really bad. I got scored on so many times. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And he's like, just try it again some other time. So I tried it again, and I loved it. And
Great.
my parents.
And then your parents
We're
started
very
shelling out the
upset.
money for pads, masks,
Yep.
everything else. Yes, I've been there, done that. You have an interesting background in the sense we were talking off camera about this Canadian hockey enterprise. We have a couple minutes left in the segment. Tell us about that and how you got involved in that.
Well, it started off, Paul Crawley started the company, and he ran boys' hockey schools for a very long time.
Okay.
And growing up as a female playing the game, there weren't any camps that were for girls. So he got the idea to start a Just for Girls camp, along with Margot Page, who was my coach at
That's right,
Niagara. So they started this camp up in Peterborough, Ontario. So the girls had opportunity to go to camp with other girls who play the sport, which was a luxury that I never had. I was always playing with the boys.
Right.
So I thought it was a fantastic opportunity, and I've been with them for a number of years now,
Right.
developing the female game.
We have about 30 seconds left. I'd be remiss with not saying you played at Niagara, was the captain at Niagara, took Niagara to the Frozen Four, then went to Ohio State as an assistant. These are experiences. In 30 seconds, how do you move those experiences to your players now?
Well, I've been there and done that for the most part. I've seen super highs and lows, and those experiences I think are huge. And just trying to relate that to the girls and say, I've been there, we can get through this.
Yeah, I would think that they could really, truly look up to you in that aspect. Well, ladies, thanks for being on the show. Appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap it up here at Bengal Magazine. Thanks to everybody in Instructional Resources, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks for more Bengal Magazine.